Most people tell you that a duck egg is just a bigger version of a chicken egg, but that's a total lie. If you're living on a tight budget here in the Philippines like I am, choosing the wrong egg isn't just about taste. It's about wasting your hard-earned money. Prices have doubled since the pandemic, and if you aren't careful, you're paying a premium for a specialty item that might actually be too heavy for your daily diet. I'm Jhonna. This is Jhonna Unfiltered. I'm an ESL teacher and a digital creator living a simple, solo life in the Philippines. This is my learning diary where I talk about animals, nature, and the reality of surviving on a budget. Thanks for being here. Just a quick heads up before we dive in. I'm sharing my personal experiences and my own research as someone who grew up around farms. I'm not a nutritionist or a professional farmer. If you have specific health issues, especially with cholesterol, please talk to a doctor before making big changes to your diet. Let's talk about the situation in my garden first. In the Philippines, especially if you live in the countryside or even in the outskirts of the city, chickens are everywhere. They aren't just livestock. They're like the background music of our lives. My neighbors have chickens and, to be honest, they're a bit of a headache. The roosters wake me up, and the hens love to wander into my garden and mess up my plants. It's annoying, but it's just part of the culture here. But the real shocker lately is the price. I remember before the pandemic, you could get a decent chicken egg for 5 pesos. Even during the lockdowns, it stayed around that price. But now, you're lucky to find one for 10 pesos. That's a 100% increase in just a few years. For someone like me who has to watch every single centavo, that change is painful. It makes you start looking at other options like ducks. Now, I've always had a soft spot for ducks. I'd love to have my own someday when I can finally afford the space. My maternal grandparents' siblings used to have a lot of ducks, so I grew up seeing how it works. Ducks are tough. They aren't as sensitive as chickens when it comes to what they eat. They're like little vacuum cleaners. In the provinces after the rice harvest, you'll see these huge flocks of ducks being released into the muddy fields. They eat the leftover grains that fell during harvest, and they help clean up the pests. It's a beautiful system. But there's a catch. Ducks are messy. Very, very messy. They need water to be happy, and they turn everything into a mud pit. If you're a solo dweller like me with limited space, that's a big problem. When it comes to the eggs themselves, there's a massive difference that people don't always realize. A duck egg is a powerhouse. It's about 50% bigger than a chicken egg, but the nutrition inside is even more concentrated. The yolk is huge and deep orange. It's much creamier and richer. If you're baking, a duck egg makes everything feel more expensive and dense. But because they're richer, they also have a lot more fat and way more cholesterol. In the Philippines, we don't usually eat fresh duck eggs for breakfast every day. We usually turn them into balut or itilog na maalat, those salty red eggs you see in the market. My relatives used to make those salted eggs, and I remember the process being so interesting. But personally, I'm a chicken egg girl for my daily meals. It's lighter. A duck egg is a bit gamey. That means it has a stronger, more wild animal smell and taste. If you fry a duck egg, you have to eat it immediately while it's hot. If it gets cold, the texture becomes a bit rubbery and the smell gets stronger. The price of duck eggs is also higher. Usually, they cost anywhere from 12 to 18 pesos each. If you're buying balut, it's even more, sometimes 30 pesos. So, if you're trying to build a retirement fund and save money like I am, chicken eggs are your best friend for survival. They're affordable, they're everywhere, and they don't have that heavy smell. But I want to advocate for our local ways of doing things. Whether it's taking care of a native aspen dog or raising native chickens, there's a pride in using what we have. I hope that one day my learning diary here on YouTube helps me earn enough so I can have a small space for my own hens. I want to be able to go into my backyard and pick up a fresh egg without worrying if it costs me 10 pesos or not. Growing up, seeing my grandparents manage their ducks taught me that everything has a purpose. The ducks cleaned the rice fields, and in return, they gave us these rich eggs that we could sell or turn into salted treats. It was a cycle. Nowadays, we've lost a bit of that connection because everything is just a price tag in a grocery store. I'm still struggling with my motivation and my depression, as many of you know. But talking about these simple things, like the difference between a duck and a chicken, actually helps me stay grounded. It's a distraction from the darker thoughts. It reminds me that there is a world outside my room, a world of farms and harvests and simple, honest food. So, for my friends in the US who are watching, I'm curious about your experience. I know your grocery stores are very different from our wet markets here in the Philippines. Do you ever see duck eggs in your local shops, or is it strictly chicken eggs for you? And for my fellow Filipinos, are you team chicken egg or team duck egg? I really appreciate you spending these 8 minutes with me. It means more to my journey and my recovery than I can put into words. Let's keep learning together. What do you think is the best way to deal with rising food prices where you live? Does it make you want to start your own little garden or raise your own animals? I'd love to read your thoughts in the comments. Let's keep the conversation peaceful and respectful. Thank you so much for spending a part of your day with me here at Jhonna, Unfiltered. For those of you who are new to this space, I want to share a little bit about what I'm building here. This channel is my personal and learning diary. I am an ESL tutor and a solo dweller in the Philippines, living a life fueled by curiosity. Whether I'm researching the hidden traits of animals, diving into the mysteries of the natural world, or exploring the deep threads that connect Filipino, Japanese, and Korean cultures, this is where I document my journey. I believe that as technology and the world grow more advanced, our minds should grow right along with them. I use this text-to-speech voice to tell my stories for a very practical reason. As a full-time teacher, I have to be incredibly careful with my vocal cords. Managing vocal nodules means I must save my voice for my students in the classroom, but I refuse to let that silence my creativity. Using these digital tools allows me to share my research and my life with you while protecting my health. On this channel, there are no fixed themes and no performances, just honest documentation. From insights gathered in my global classroom to my experiences crafting a solo retirement lifestyle on my own terms, this is my way of staying productive and moving forward. I am currently working toward my goal of 1,000 subscribers, so I can turn this passion into a sustainable future for myself and my pets. If you found something meaningful in today's video, please consider subscribing to help me reach that milestone. Your support, whether it's a comment or a view, truly helps me keep the depressing thoughts at bay and keeps my focus on building something beautiful. If you'd like to support my journey even more, you can check out the buy a treat for my pets link in the description. Shiro and the rest of the pack send their thanks. Thank you for being a part of this journey. I'm Jhonna, and I'll see you in the next one.